What a wild Sunday of football. We saw pick sixes, blocked field goals returned for touchdowns, a punt return TD, crazy finishes, and quarterbacks being benched left and right. NFL Week 3 had everything. But with all that chaos, you know what comes next? The hot takes. Overreactions. Fans are already asking, should the Falcons go back to Kirk Cousins? Are the Bengals ready to move on from Zach Taylor? And is Justin Herbert really the frontrunner for MVP? Well, today we're breaking down which of these overreactions are actually reality and which ones are pure hype. Let's dive in. Let's start with the biggest headline. The Kansas City Chiefs offense will cost them a playoff spot. Now, at first that sounds crazy. This is a team led by Patrick Mahomes, the face of the NFL, a guy who's carried Kansas City to multiple Super Bowls. But let's look closer. Against the Giants, the Chiefs racked up just 306 yards and only 22 points. And remember, this Giants defense was just carved up by the Cowboys last week. Kansas City averaged only 4.6 yards per play and 5.2 yards per pass attempt. That's bottom-tier efficiency for a Mahomes-led offense. Here's the kicker. Through 3 games, the Chiefs are averaging the fewest points per game, yards per game, and yards per play in the Mahomes era. That's since 2018. Even with Rashee Rice suspended and Xavier Worthy injured, that's shocking. So is this an overreaction? Honestly, it's reality. If Kansas City's offense doesn't wake up, they could actually miss the playoffs. I know it sounds unbelievable, but right now, this isn't the Chiefs team we're used to. Next one, Brian Daboll won't last this season as Giants coach. Some fans are calling for it, but let's pump the brakes. New York is 9-28 since Daboll's magical first season. They should have probably moved on last year if they were serious about it, but they didn't. That's why, even with Russell Wilson struggling and Malik Nabers being a non-factor, Daboll is safe, at least for now. The real question, do they finally turn to Jackson Dart? Russell Wilson looks washed. Dart might not be a savior, but at least he gives Daboll a shot to show he's trying something new. So I'm calling this one overreaction. Daboll will finish out the year. How about this one? Justin Herbert is the front runner for NFL MVP. Now, I love Herbert's talent, but front runner? Not yet. Sunday wasn't his best statistical day, 300 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, but the way he led the Chargers in crunch time was special. Down 2013 in the fourth quarter, Herbert went a perfect 8 for 8 for 93 yards and a touchdown on the final 2 drives. That's MVP-level clutch. On the season, he's completing 67% of his passes with 6 TDs and just 1 int. So is he in the conversation? Absolutely. Is he the front runner? Overreaction. He needs a few more signature performances before he's ahead of guys like Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson. Next up, Caleb Williams will be the first Bears QB ever to throw 30 touchdowns in a season. Reality. 100% reality. Williams just torched the Cowboys with 4 touchdown passes. He looks comfortable in Ben Johnson's system, and right now he's got 7 touchdowns in 3 games. That puts him on pace for 40 this year. No Bears QB in their entire history, over 100 years, has ever hit 30. Not Cutler, not Sid Luckman, nobody. If Williams stays healthy, he's rewriting the record books this season. Next overreaction, the Packers offense will keep them from winning the Super Bowl. Against Cleveland, they put up just 10 points, 230 yards, and 3.8 yards per play. Not exactly championship-level numbers. Jordan Love threw a brutal pick that swung the game. But let's give credit where it's due. Cleveland's defense is scary good. They've held all 3 opponents under 250 yards. They're leading the league in fewest yards allowed. This wasn't just Green Bay being bad, it was the Browns dominating. So is this reality? Maybe. I'll call it a half reality. If the Packers want to be contenders, their offense has to take a big step forward. Here's a fun one. Carson Wentz should remain the Viking starter. Look, J.J. McCarthy was awful before his injury. Wentz comes in, goes 14-23 for 178 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no interceptions in a 48-10 blowout win. His first clean game like that since 2021. The Vikings eased him in, but he looked comfortable.
Right now, he gives Minnesota the better chance to win. I'd say ride Wentz while you can. Once McCarthy is healthy, they'll probably give him another shot, but in the short term, this is reality. Now let's talk Cincinnati. Should the Bengals move on from Zach Taylor? Ouch. The Bengals are off to a rough start, and Joe Burrow doesn't look like himself. Taylor's offensive system feels stale. When you've got a quarterback as talented as Burrow, plus Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, you shouldn't be struggling like this. The reality is, Taylor bought himself some time with that Super Bowl run. But if this continues and the Bengals miss the playoffs, don't be shocked if the front office starts looking elsewhere. I'll call this one not an overreaction. Now here's one that might sting some Falcons fans. The Buccaneers will run away with the NFC South. Right now, it looks like reality. Tampa is 3-0 with all 3 wins coming in the final minute. Yes, their margin of victory is razor thin, but they're the only team in the division that looks competent. The Falcons can't figure out their quarterback, the Saints are a mess, and the Panthers, well, they're the Panthers. Next week against Philly will be the real test, but for now, the Bucs are the clear favorite. And finally, should the Falcons go back to Kirk Cousins? Michael Penix had a brutal game. 18-36, 178 yards, 2 picks, no points. Atlanta got shut out 30-0 by Carolina. That's rock bottom. Penix is young and still growing, but when you have a $180 million veteran sitting there fresh off his Achilles recovery, you have to at least consider it. Kirk Cousins could stabilize this offense and give them a spark. This one, reality. If the Falcons are serious about competing, Kirk Cousins needs to be in the conversation. So, there you have it. Week 3's hottest NFL overreactions. Some are crazy, but others might just be the truth. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these do you buy and which are total hype? Do the Chiefs really risk missing the playoffs? Should the Falcons bench Penix for Cousins? Drop your takes in the comments below. I'll be reading through and replying. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more NFL coverage, and check out my latest video on NFL Week 3's biggest winners and losers. Trust me, you don't want to miss it.